He says, how do you prep and paint glossy looking plastic that's faded? Well, if you see, so if you're talking about faded plastic is faded. There's no way you're gonna get that. Like if you got like a red dirt bike panels and they're faded to like a pinkish or a whitish in some areas, you're not gonna get that fade back just by clearing it. You're gonna basically have to repaint it. And it'll last a while. You could put flex agent in there. I've done it on a quad and some dirt bikes in the past. But after a while, they start to chip because I don't know if you guys ever crashed a quad or dirt bike, but those plastics really, really bend up. So it's the same way. If you're going to be painting plastics like that, soft plastic, hard plastic, no problem. It's the same exact process. Oh, good news, guys. Also, I got good news. The final VIP series for this project is actually 100% complete, and this is plastic here. This is all plastic. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're talking about hard plastic, like motorcycle fairings and moped fairings, like our Grom there, or soft plastic, but it's pretty much the same process. You're just going to be adding more flex agent or flex agent inside of dirt bike panels or quad panels, softer plastic. You don't have to necessarily do it with regular plastic panels. I don't. Okay, because paint is already a little is already flexible. All right, does that help? Been arguing with my boss about this. Can you wet sand body filler? I keep saying no because I always thought it holds moisture. What are your thoughts? Yeah, well, I don't recommend it. I do not. You can, but I don't recommend it. And if you do, you need to let that thing dry out in the sun for a good day to get all the moisture out. Then you can prime it. So the only time I will get into a situation where I'm wet sanding body filler is where you do your body work, okay, on a panel or whatever. You shape it, you get it exactly how you want it. You put 2K filler primer on it, okay? You block it out and you're wet sanding, okay? I like to wet sand all my body work. You're blocking it out, wet sanding, and then you cut through to the body filler, right? And you expose a little body filler while you're wet sanding. That's fine. That's normal. It happens. Just make sure that it's completely dried before you prime it again or before you seal it. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. I've never basically rough coated body filler, finished it off with 150 or 320 grit and then wet sanded it like that. I've never done that. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that. Okay. So I'm not sure, Harold, I'm not sure what's going on with your boss or like what type of body, wet sanding you're doing on body filler, but it's not normal just to wet sand body filler. If you're cutting through primer, wet sanding, and you get to it, that's fine. That's normal. It's not going to hurt it. Let me know if that answered your question or if we're Smart Classic Clear is a Finnish master's product. I've never used it. And here's what I have to say about paint brands, spray gun brands. There's so many. I'm in love with the Atom X spray guns. I use them all the time. They're my go-to gun. I used to have SATAs. Here's one of my old SATAs, my SATA RP. Old gun, doesn't really work that well, because it's old and I haven't cleaned it properly and it's just all kind of like caked up and not in use. Clear coat brands, paint brands, to me, they are like shoe brands, because sometimes you're going to put on a Newport shoe, I'm thinking, I don't know why I said Newport, New Balance or Nike or Adidas, and you're gonna feel that they fit differently on your feet, right? But you don't know until you try them. So sometimes you have to try different brands. A spray gun, maybe you're spraying with an Iwata now, you're getting okay results, but maybe you're like, hey, let me switch to the Atom spray gun. Maybe, oh, this fits better in my hand. You know, just like the Velbus, I just don't like the way their guns are pitched. Like when I hold the Velbus guns, their nozzle here to me feels like it's pointed upward a little. So when I'm like painting a hood, I feel like I have to turn my wrist a little bit extra to get it laying down flat on the hood. So some guns, these feel really good to me in my hand, the Atom spray guns. Clear coats, same thing. You don't know unless you try them. Some clear coats you're gonna spray with DuPont. You're gonna be like, oh, this spray's pretty nice. Smells pretty nice also. Or you're gonna do PPG. Oh, I don't like the way that PPG laid on. Maybe you're gonna have to try different brands, and then you'll kind of get a feel for it and say, hey, well, I like the way this clear coat flows on. I've been getting good results, and you stick with it. There's no sense of changing every other time unless you feel like you're going to be getting a better deal, and you want to try out a new clear brand, or you know that's all I say. Sometimes you don't know unless you try. So I recommend you guys, experimenting and try. Somebody says, Mayan says, my ex is not spraying right. It sprays, but when it's spraying, it loses air, or it seems like it coughs. Well, the number one failure for spray guns and having issues with spray guns is basically not cleaning them, or having it caked up inside. So the number one thing, no matter what spray gun you're using, Atom spray guns, the Velbus, Astro, Iwata, Sada, you're going to want to make sure you take the thing apart when you're done. And you don't have to take it apart completely, mainly your needle area, your cap, clean it out, wash it out. If you're having sputtering issues, it's probably because you're getting lack of fluid going in. Okay. Maybe you have a neck filter in here that's clogged up. Okay. Or maybe you didn't filter out your primer or paint and you have like little lumps. That'll give you that sputtering. Not clean, your air cap clogged up will give you sputtering. So the number one thing, if sometimes it happens to me as well, I'm getting ready to paint and I notice on my test paper, the spray's not coming out good. So immediately, what do? I stop, I take the gun apart, I clean it, test it again, and most of the times it's good. You're good to go. So that's more likely the issue with gun failures is not cleaning them properly. Yeah, so if it's sputtering, dude, I would definitely take that thing apart and clean it. Another thing you might want to do, and what I do, is use triple O steel wool. And sometimes what you could do is just wipe your needle down with steel wool, because sometimes you're going to end up with a little ring. I don't know if you can see this here. And sometimes you got a little caked up of ring, clear coat or whatever here, that it doesn't come out with regular cleaning. You're going to basically need to, you could actually use like 2,500 or 3,000 sandpaper wet, and then just wet everything and just kind of like put the sandpaper over it and just twist the needle for a bit. You're not going to go crazy and sand it down. You're just going to clean the tip. That helps a lot if you're having issues as well. You just don't want to do it too much. The other thing is using steel wool. Okay. You guys know like triple O or 4XO, quad O steel wool. And you could just clean up your needle and then just clean the whole needle out, front and back. Make sure your guns are clean. That's the main thing for spray gun failure, because if you don't clean your guns, they get caked up, and that'll literally really screw up your gun. And pretty much you're going to have to buy a rebuild kit, which is basically the whole needle and nozzle kit. Or you're going to have to, if they don't sell that, some cheap guns, they don't sell a rebuild kit, then you're just going to have to get another gun. You're going to have to splurge on a Atom or whatever guns you guys, whatever guns you guys use. But that's the main cause of failure, guys, is not cleaning a gun. Can you paint the whole car poly two-stage and clear with the Atom? Absolutely, of course. Of course. You could paint the whole car with any of these guns. So this is the Atom X88 Infinity. This is the X27. All of these guns are standard size spray guns. You can paint a complete car with it. Absolutely, no problem. Here is the Blue Moon version, different color variation. The only difference is the color. This one has some overspray on it. I need to clean the body a little bit better, but it's a great sprayer. And here's the Mini X9. This is really, you know, I like to use this for touch-ups, door jams, and whatnot. All right, can I respray it the same with base color by scuffing the clear, or do I need to rebase from the silver all over? It depends on what you're doing, bro. Like, if I were you, maybe send me some detailed pictures or a 30-second video of what you got going at Tony@learnautobodyandpaint.com so I can help you out a little bit better. But it's hard for me to see what you got going and give you an answer just by that. But if you're doing a touch-up, it's very hard to match candy. I mean, I've done it many times, but it's very hard to basically touch up candy. Okay, especially if you got pearls or flakes in your candy as well, it makes it even harder. So yeah, it is possible, but it does make it harder. You know, I don't know if you're looking to do if you're going to be doing a complete paint job, then I would basically sand all that down. I would do the silver base coat again, and then I would just redo the whole candy paint job. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Peace out. See you next week, same time. And I will be in touch. And guys, we will be doing the Tesla. I'm just waiting for this web.